food नहीं करना था, medical engineering कर लिया. Why IIM?
What are friends doing? What are they taking? Where is my best friend going? And that's how we were making decisions.
Once my brother got in IIM Calcutta, that's when I got additional pressure कि यार अभी तो करना ही पड़ेगा.
State your education, your whatever degree, even if you're an IIT, IIM, it doesn't matter.
This is a very crowded category, as you mentioned.
A lot of people start with clean label.
We'll keep getting this question on our face for the rest of our lives.
Mix, have you had breakfast? We'll be talking a lot about food if you want to grab a toast.
Hello and welcome back to episode 13 of IIM Ke Baad. We have two interesting guests today, Nischal and Richa, whom we are covering for their entrepreneurial journey after IIM. Looking forward to an interesting conversation. Nischal and Richa, welcome to the episode.
Thank you. Thank you for having us here.
Yes, thank you very much. Quite excited about it.
Yes.
Especially with the name IIM Ke Baad.
No, it's an interesting name, and the whole idea was that we will cover journeys of alumni, different journeys that they have had, and be able to share that not just with aspirants but also with public at large. So very quickly, Nischal and Richa, in the beginning, we would want to cover your initial journeys till IIM. I know you would have had both individual, separate journeys, and as we cover further beyond the IIM days, the journeys will become fun when you got together for Curryit. For the start, why don't I start with Richa? Richa, what has been your journey prior to IIM and into IIM? Why did you pursue getting an IIM degree? But just if you can take a few minutes covering your background.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Sure. If you say that my career has been like from school to engineering, going into IT, and then finding out that, oh, this is not something I want to do for the rest of my life. And then coming back in, I come from a family which actually, thankfully, really is introduced and exposed to food through my family's occupation, or members occupation, or just sheer love for cooking at home, or too much of influence of relatives and culture. So food has been very, very close, and something that I inherently, firstly, I wanted to be a chef. Clearly my parents thought that was too early. It was not very common for women to pursue hotel management as chef, so obviously that was very different. And so the safest option was to take science and then move into a medical or an engineering and get through and do something which is very safe as a job, and you get a good paycheck at the end, come back home, and you have a time for yourself, etc. So did that, but figured this is not what I really find excitement in, and probably I wasn't seeing myself growing. So came back, started a small QSR actually, ran it for about a year, realized it's more than just passion that you need to run a food business. So I think that is one of the key reasons where, after doing an engineering IT, and where I realized that, okay, one side is passion, but how to build a business out of your passion, you need to understand what is business. And I had no idea. I'm not a hotel management student, had no idea how to even manage cash flows. So that was a point where I thought that, I need to probably understand business better. Obviously, IIM is a dream destination for anyone who wants to pursue management. From outside, it looks like, you'll go there and you'll learn something transformational. You'll come back and then you will just, build something big empire, and people are gonna give you like multi-dollar checks, and you're gonna like transform. So all of that, with that idea, went into doing an MBA. And I think from when you give CAT, you obviously get a percentile, and then you get calls from certain colleges, and then you have to choose basis where you get shortlisted. IIM Udaipur was one of the choices, but when I visited, I wanted to visit the college before making a choice, and it was I would have been a part of the second batch of that college. and it was the youngest IIM in the country. Met the director, Janat sir there back then. Decided that this is the place to be. We'll get a lot of chance to learn, and that has been the journey. And I think that was the turning point in my career, my perspective on life, and probably you can say that's something that made me grow as a person. So that has
Perfect,
been my
Richa.
journey.
That was a great whirlwind tour, and we'll come to your IIM Udaipur journey in a bit. It wasn't even open when the three of us graduated.
And Professor Janath was he was the director dean at our time, right? PGP dean when we were studying.
Yes, yes. So coming back to before IIM, where did you grow up, and what did you do in your graduation? Just tell us a bit more about that. Leading into, you were already hinting why you wanted to do an IIM, but we'll take it till there.
Okay.
What you were doing
Okay.
before?
Sure. So I have been born and brought up in Delhi. Most
Hmm.
of my years have been spent in the city. I went to a convent school. Then from there, decided to take up science and pursue engineering. And spent 4 years of computer science engineering, learning that. From
Where
there,
was
I
that?
got in
Where did you?
Faridabad. In
In
Faridabad,
Faridabad.
yes, it's a Manav Rachna University. So private
Okay. Now,
university based.
normally we don't ask where in Delhi, but this is the Delhiite in me wanting to be curious about. Okay, which part of Delhi did you go, and which convent school did you go to?
So I was in Carmel Convent, which is
Okay, I know
which
Kamal
is
Convent.
in for till 10th I was there. Then I was this kid who wanted to do probably everything in life, so took up for PCMB with maths. Said मैं doctor भी बन सकती हूँ, engineer भी बन सकती हूँ, like a very confused kid. So
Hmm,
had to go for those coaching classes. So decided that time nahi hai, let me change the school to something which is nearby. So I moved
got
on
it.
to DPS Vasant Kunj, which was just next door. Passed
Okay,
out my 12th from DPS Vasant Kunj.
okay. So you're
Took
a Vasant Kunj girl, basically, then.
yes, almost all
Got
my
it.
life I've
Got
been in
it.
Vasant
Got it. No,
Kunj.
I'm just sorry. We normally don't go into areas of Delhi, but I'm naturally curious. Like my wife's from Vasant Kunj and so
And I
on. So
am
it's like we've
from
grown up in the
DPS
same
RK Puram
ecosystem.
11, 12,
Wow,
PCMB again, as confused as you, but many years. Yeah.
Arey, wow, wow, this is amazing. So
No,
did
we
you
had
have
only
sections
till
till Z
P.
back then as well? It
It's
was double A.
800 students in the batch, about 50 per batch. Per section.
RK Puram was a democracy in itself, so it was like an independent state.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's so RK Puram. By the time I was there in DPS Vasant Kunj, RK Puram had a section called Double A. So they had finished
Wow.
Z also.
हाँ,
Yeah,
बाकी
so that's
बाकी भी ले लो, थोड़ा सा एक्सपैंड कर लो, बाकी भी स्कूल्स को डीपीएस दिस डीपीएस दैट बना दो.
yeah, franchisee
Yeah.
model is going on anyways very well.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
good stuff.
that's
Okay,
the
so you grew up and then you went to another school which was closer, so you can
yeah.
prepare for both engineering and medical. Did you give all the exams?
I gave actually just two medical exams which I wanted to get through. One was AFMC Armed Forces Medical College. Wanted to find a way to get into the army. Only 25 seats for women, but I don't know what I was thinking, but I thought कि कर लूँगी मैं बस.
Hmm,
So that, and then I gave an all India medical exam through which I got into dentistry in PDS in Manipal. And
okay.
my mom said, no, ये नहीं जाना. It's too far and it's a very notorious place. I've heard all the wrong things. You're not going. So the next best option was to use that score and apply for an engineering, and
Hmm.
got it nearby home. I think decisions back then were more I don't know, emotional rather than thinking too much. What are friends doing? What are they taking? Where is my best friend going? And that's how we were making decisions.
I think
I
that's
so
how we take our decisions, don't we? We take
we
our
do.
decisions like that. I was talking to someone in one of the previous episodes. I gave an NDA exam in my
Yeah,
11th, 12th, just because a few of my
yeah.
friends were giving the NDA exam. The, except for one, none of them got the call. I got an interview call and I went for an interview, even though by then I realized कि ये मैंने किसके लिए, मुझे आर्मी में थोड़ी ना जाना था. I
Yeah.
just filled up the paper
Yeah.
just because of that, and that also reminds me, as in, I remember two of my friends were doing hotel management, or they
Hmm.
were giving those Pusa Institute something, and I gave those also. Now the good
Yeah.
thing is I got in those. The bad thing is now in hindsight, maybe I should have gone there, but it's done.
I
It's
know
done.
that
It's like,
feeling.
yeah, it's like
But
nearly
see,
more than 25
that's
years
how
ago.
see, that's how seriously both Nishal and I have taken this going with the friends view. We've been friends for the last 13, 14 years and we decided यही करना है साथ में.
Hmm.
So that's what friends do.
Yes, yes. So when was this, Richa? When did you give your medical and engineering exams?
This is going to reveal my age, but I'm going to still do that. This is back in 2004, when
Okay,
2004, 5, when entrance exams were being given. Five
got it. So,
actually.
and then that's when you did your engineering. You started your engineering, got into engineering, and which field was that?
Computer science.
Computer science. Okay, okay. I'm okay. So then I'm curious. This is for a different reason, and I'll come to that. Is what's the
Yeah.
course in a computer science course? I'm sure it's different now, 20 years later. But
Yeah.
what was your course? What were you doing in computer science back then?
I think the first year was common. All the streams were doing the same thing. Like you have lathe machines also, and you have C, C++ also. And then second year onwards, you get circuit designs, you get coding plus plus, you get C, C++. Then you also get JavaScripts, and then you go
Right.
into hardware systems, all of that. So that's
Hmm.
the max that I remember. Since after that, only for 2 years we applied a little bit of it, and after that, I think uh, it has helped us now when we were starting Curryit and we had to design the website ourselves. I think that's
Got
where all that logic designing was coming.
it. Got it. Got it. The basics never change. Never
Yeah.
change.
Yeah, that's it. So that's where I was for 4 years. Then so my uncle actually is my dad's brother, my chacha. He's actually an ex Taj now, and he's actually a hotel management guy. So since childhood I've seen him, like, so closely watched him be engaged in this whole food operations and all of that. So, and he's been with Taj for almost 30 years. So I just knew
Hmm.
about this brand called Tatas. And so when I was getting placed, I was like, if TCS is coming, I'm going. Otherwise, I don't want to get placed.
Hmm.
But yeah, so that's how. But I didn't
You
get
went,
placed in
you worked
TCS.
with NIIT or somewhere, right?
No.
So with emphasis first, NIIT is when I came back to Delhi to start the restaurant. That I said, okay, I need something to
Oh, interesting.
fuel the cash flows of the restaurant. So
So you worked at Infosys
that's
for how long?
so I was with emphasis. I met almost 2.5 years. Also, where I met Nischal. So
Interesting.
that's how long back we go.
Right. Right. So you met him at Infosys, and this was before your IAM, before you went to IAM.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Much before. This is close to 2010, 11.
Okay. Okay. So tell us then. So why IAM? I mean, food नहीं करना था, medical engineering कर लिया. Why IAM? What's the big reason?
Uh, yeah, so like I was telling you that I just knew I had to do something in food. And since I couldn't do hotel management, I still had that kid of starting a restaurant. It's always like this dream of almost every person in the world that I've met, that they want to open a restaurant or a cafe, right? Same with me. It's just that because I had exposure to food and, opening restaurants and banquets because of my uncle, I thought that I had a little more edge in terms of taking that plunge. So I was the first in the entire family, both maternal, paternal side, to ever start a business of my own. So from there, I started a restaurant. It was a small, 20 seater restaurant back again in Vasant Kunj. We were serving Indian cuisine, and we were also doing a lot of innovation. What we were trying to do was that I wanted to do something different apart from the regular dal makhni paratha. So we used to experiment a lot. So we launched stuffed momos, tandoori momos, and all of that we were doing. So the response, obviously, my uncle helped get the team together and also helped, like, give that first push on how to do the sales, and how to make orders. Back then, there was no Swiggy, Zomato. There used to be a yellow book in Vasant Kunj where you would give an ad for 500 rupees, with a menu that just pick up the phone and place the order: one dal makhni, one paneer, one chicken, and five paratha, and someone is going to come on a cycle to deliver it to you. So it was a hyper local delivery system that we were having, and it was one of the most humbling experiences,
mm,
because I think till then, till we are not starting our own thing, we are very protected, right? Everyone's polite, nice, friends, professors, teachers. And then when you're on the other side of the phone where there's a customer calling you, um, I think it's very humbling. There is nothing called your stature, your education, your whatever degree. Even if you're an IIT, IIM, it doesn't matter. You are the person who's talking to the customer. So it was very, very interesting. Something that I learned a lot. Obviously, a lot of times, if no one was used to, calling up and a woman picking up the phone on the other side. Most of the times, they're like, "Oh, wrong number. You're going to call this restaurant." So I think, no, no, no. By the way, this is you're right, right. Please tell me the order.
yeah.
So it was nice. Changed it to a QSR and also tried my hands at corporate parties, etc. But that was it. So in 2011, then the malls came up in Vasant Kunj, and I had no idea now what to do, because everyone suddenly just stopped ordering in and wanted
Mm,
to go to this AC mall and go to the food court concept, order multiple dishes from different restaurants. So suddenly this whole idea of passion turning into business was very confusing for me, so I didn't know what to do now. And that is where I realized that need to understand a little more. As what do you do now? How do you scale it? How do you sell it? How do you what is it that you why will someone buy you? Why will someone pick up the phone and order to you? So then realized, no, no, I don't understand business at all. So the next big, and I come from a service family. No one has ever had a business, and it was a huge risk that I was taking, because everyone said that as a girl, why are you doing this? Just settle down and all of that. So I said, no, let me just learn, and that's why I said, okay, I'm gonna give CAT, and only if I get through an IIM or a decent college will I pursue it. But because I've seen that if you don't do it from a good institute, then you're just earning another degree. You're
mm.
not really able to change anything in your learning pattern or your knowledge or probably your approach to learning. It was just it. So I said, I'm going to take only when I get a decent good college. And IM is all something which is aspirational for anyone who wants to do an MBA
I
somewhere.
think you had a better reason to go to IIM than many of us and many of our previous guests also. Most of us were like similar to what you were saying in the beginning. We ended up in IIM thinking, कि यार सब लोग cat लिख रहे हैं, so I also will give cat. What else is there to do? And that sort
Yeah,
of a thing. So maybe you thought through it a bit more. I'm quite impressed. Maybe
And
like they say,
what
India badal
what
raha
I
hai.
like, Richa, is actually you were already running a business uh, if, as a restaurant in the QSR. It would have taken a lot of your time, I'm assuming. So pursuing that in parallel, pursuing studying for CAT, uh, what was that experience like? How did you manage to balance the two?
Oh, I think how this is like, if I look back, I can't believe I could do that. I don't think I can redo it now. So I was working at NIIT. So in the morning, 8 to 5, I'll be in NIIT. Come back at 6, open the restaurant at 7, work till 11, and then 11 onwards, I'll go back home and do study for CAT. So this
Wow.
was my 2011 plan for that year. So, but I think sometimes, when you're just absolutely crazy about something, you were just able to do it. There's no lack of time. It's not work anymore, right? So restaurant was giving me this whole adrenaline rush, and I was like, oh my god, I'm getting calls. People call you and they said, oh my god, this is the best dal makhni I've ever had, and it just makes your day. It like छोड़ो यार, मतलब क्या थकावट, nothing, you feel nothing. And then you come back and then you have this idea that I have to do this, clear the cat. And I think my dad was this my biggest critique. So he would say, तुमसे नहीं होगा, छोड़ दो.
अब तो
I
करना
was
ही
like, now
पड़ेगा.
I'm gonna like do this. So
Mm,
yeah, so I
that's
think
a good
it's
challenge.
it just happened. If I look back and think about doing it again, I don't know. I don't know if I would be able to. I can't imagine.
That's good. So, Richa, you said one thing. That's the best dal makhani. मुझे ये बताओ, as a pure Delhiite, कि where is the best dal makhani in Delhi right now, in your opinion, without any biases?
It's in your house
Uh,
when you use curry.
Thank
Yes.
you. Okay.
Yes.
If I didn't have curry, if I went
well,
out in a restaurant, वहाँ पे कौन सी है? Which is the dal
Oh,
makhani?
then you go to a restaurant that uses curry.
Very nice.
and
Very
this is
See,
nice.
without any bias.
The
Okay,
reason I
this
ask
is
is
this is
yeah, yeah, without any bias. Most founders love their product. That's very obvious. It's our baby, but we are so critical of our products that we don't launch it till the time it's 100% wow. So we are very proud कि वो नहीं मिलेगा. You will not find a better Hyderabadi biryani than a Curryit Hyderabadi biryani anywhere in Delhi, and that's a guarantee. You'll not find a better Rogan Josh. I mean, we will guarantee this hands down, and that confidence comes because we are unbiased. So we go out and eat like we travel miles only to eat, and only then we get that confidence. So dal makhni, yes, here.
dal makhani
Otherwise,
here.
probably I don't know.
I'm
Actually,
pretty
everyone
sure
has
dal makhani will run outside Delhi immensely more than Delhi, because Delhi, see, you've got 100,000 choices of
that's
having decent dal makhani, and I say that from my personal experience. The first time, and this was after IIM, I started working in Mumbai. I think
yeah.
it was called Bombay back then. I don't remember, but yeah, it was
Hmm.
long ago, more than 2 decades ago. And
Hmm.
I said कि I'm missing my Delhi type of food and all that, because everything has like some kacha lesun in that and all that, yellow dal and stuff like that. So one of my colleagues then said कि बेटा तू यहाँ जा, there is this restaurant called Great Punjab, सरदार चलाता है. मैं say यार okay,
Hmm.
what could go wrong?
Hmm. Hmm.
I won't narrate the entire experience, but I ordered, my go-to dishes were butter chicken और दाल मखनी. ला दो यार, बहुत 3 हफ्ते हो गए
Yeah.
हैं खाया नहीं है.
Yeah.
And I got butter chicken in white gravy, and dal makhani was a yellow dal. And the waiter tried to
No.
convince me कि ये बटर भी है, दोनों में है, मक्खन है और बटर है, दोनों में है, तो अब आपको प्रॉब्लम क्या हो रही है? I literally, and I remember this because of a number of reasons, but that made such a deep mark in my mind. I was like, ये ले तू पैसे ले ले भैया, मुझे नहीं आना
Scarred.
दोबारा. That
Scarred
is
for
right.
life.
I've become more appreciative of different cuisines since then, in the last 2 decades, especially since I've come to London, and then now I even miss Mumbai food. So
No,
that's a
but I,
different
I
thing.
now really need to try the dal makhani.
No,
So
Yeah,
I
good.
true.
So now
have the box in my hand, which Nischal sent me.
Please do. It's actually, if you go back to, since you asked about dal makhani, why we feel ours is the best because we don't add nonsense to it. See, dal makhani originally means dal and makhan, right? It's not supposed to have loads of cream and loads of chana dal to make it thick. It should be black lentils cooked with makhan and tomato gravy. That's how it was invented. So now what has happened is that, see, if you go to a restaurant, everyone has a version of their paneer, their dal. So it's in Delhi. Thankfully, you'll never have a very bad
Right.
dal makhani. You'll get a decent dal makhani. But like you said, in Mumbai, in Bangalore, in Chennai, in Hyderabad, in Calcutta, right? What do we do? So now, if suppose Richa was in Calcutta and she was missing dal makhani, what do you do? Exactly like
So
what happened with
I
you
have
would probably
I have
happen with
had
me,
in Bangalore dal
and
makhani
that's
with
why.
curry leaf chunk in it. So it was like an additional touch.
For that.
Look,
So every place localizes, right? So even in Delhi, if you go and have a Rogan Josh, it'll be very Punjabi Rogan Josh. For some reason, there'll be lots of pyaz, tomato, and floating oil on top, and be super spicy. And it's so unfortunate that most of us don't get to experience the real food because restaurants try to localize it so much to suit the local palate so that the sales don't go down. Then ultimately, there are like perceptions built around dal makhani as being very heavy, Rogan Josh as being something very spicy, Hyderabadi being always in a matka, and having the specific बहुत सारा masala and some, it's very unfortunate that localization of food is great, but then there should be some authentic places where you can try, right, and get that taste. So yeah, just to
yeah,
answer
we're
your
talking
question,
about food so much. I have a feeling Vix is probably looking for his breakfast. And Vix, have you had breakfast?
No, I just got up from the bed like literally 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, yeah, you should. I mean, if
So,
we'll be talking a lot about food, if you want to grab a toast or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Nischal, I had a question for you. Richa has a background in food. Do you also have a similar background in food, or where did you come from?
You're on mute.
Yeah, it's unmuted. Yeah, yeah. Now I no, actually, mine is completely a different extreme. Uh, so I'll just give a brief intro. So I'm from Visakhapatnam, coastal city of Andhra Pradesh. All my childhood, I was staying in naval quarters. My dad used to work with military engineering service, so always stayed in naval quarters. So it had, I mean, a lot of things were shaped during that period. Okay, so it's a multicultural setup, right? I mean, it's like all the people of the country were part of that particular colony, and we used to celebrate all the festivals, right? Be it Guru Nanak Jayanti to an Onam to our own festival, be it Navaratri, everything was used to be celebrated in that particular colony, and we used to have compared to any other Vizagite, my childhood is more multicultural, multilingual, exposure to different food, different cuisine, different festivals. This has shaped a lot of things in me. I always wanted to travel different parts of the country and just experience it. I mean, it was a bahana for me to just participate in so many things in school. It started off with the sole intention of exploring a different part of the culture, be it place, food, even the journey in the train I was very excited about during that time. So that's me. So I generally never dreamt of a usual career. Okay. I generally wanted something different than anyone else who's in my elder sister has done something, I should not do it. My brother has done something, I should not do it. But ironically, I ended up doing everything that they've done. They've done engineering, I've done engineering. They've joined IT company, I've joined IT company. They've given cat, I've given cat. But yes, the way I've done these things, the way I've navigated those phases are different. But somewhere during my I've done computer science from Andhra University and from Visakhapatnam. Post that I've joined Infosys. I was working from Mangalore, Mysore, Pune, and Hyderabad. These were the locations. Again, I loved it. Frankly speaking, will give a lot of credit to Infosys. Will love being part of Infosys. First corporate experience from a small town, going, getting some money, getting corporate discipline, experiencing different cultures. We loved it, but somewhere it wasn't what we wanted to achieve in life. The greater heights, we thought it wasn't the journey that we it will take. In fact, I got H1B in 2013, where they've launched. I mean, I think the first time the lottery system was initiated in 2012. I guess that's when I got H1B, and I said I'll not go for it. And that's when there was huge hue and cry at my home, because सबने किया IT में सबने किया, everyone has when everyone went to US, everyone is earning well.
Yeah,
Why are you saying that?
half of Vizag who is not in the navy is in San Jose, isn't it?
Every second hour someone is in US, either girl or boy, either married or some other way. And when I said no, there was huge hue and cry. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? This guy is mad. He's very short tempered. Just to say no to their parents, he'll do a lot of things came across. But I said, yeah, I had one strong support from my mother. She said, if at all you want to study in your life, this is the time. Afterwards, once you get hand of money, because you go to US, you get a little bit more dollars in your hand, you'll never study. Okay. So I said, okay, I want to go for it. Part of the reason was also there are two things that made me go for an MBA and then IIM. One, when I was in Infosys, I was working with for clients Walmart, Gap, and Target, US based all. Okay. We were
And
working on
Nishal, what
so much
kind
of
of projects were these? What kind of projects were you doing?
basically, we used to manage their tech stack for retail operations, the store level inventory management, the store level offer management, the
Right.
store level new product launches, why a particular product can only stay for those many weeks in the store, when
Got
it
it.
will enter
Got it.
actually the discounted price, how the space the volumetric space a product is occupying in Walmart or Gap is actually directly associated with the revenue loss
Right.
if it stays more than a few weeks, and how it enters into discounted price. Basically, I worked for Old Navy, Gap, and Banana Republic. These were the three brands under Gap which I used to
Yeah.
work
And
largely.
in terms of your role at in those projects, what were you doing, and what were the
So
others doing?
there's a vertical called ETL, extract
Hmm.
transform load, right?
Right.
So for these brands, for inventory management and new store launches, we were doing complete tech development from Infosys. Okay, so there used to be huge data ETL programs that run from India, which will make during nighttime we do all those data logics used to run, which will make the store inventory and sale point of sale work properly. If anything
Right.
messes up, the sale at the store front end will go wrong. Okay, as simple as if a new SKU was launched there,
Hmm.
in particular flow season, for say it's called back to school was one season for US. If particular styles were launched there, across multiple stores, how it should be launched, what is the inventory estimation, everything was done by us, and I was a technical architect there. I started as a software engineer and I ended up as a technical architect. Largely, Gap was my large project. I worked for the client for 2.5 years, Walmart for 6 months, and Target for 8 months. Okay.
Right. And
Uh,
Walmart, I'm just drilling down into, because I can very well sense that that learning, even probably unintentionally for you, would play a lot as you scale up your current startup. But we'll come to that in a bit. Uh, Walmart,
yeah,
was that across product categories or only like some product? Because Gap is clothes, right? Clothes and accessories.
yeah.
Walmart, did you have food
Walmart was
line items
a
also? Because that has a very different complexity, doesn't it? When you have inventory management.
Yeah, yeah. So Walmart was not at product level, the
Okay,
inventory level. Walmart was more to do with the reporting level. Okay,
right.
so we were working largely for the sales level, sales reconciliation level reporting structure.
Got it.
So
Got it.
again, with the same ETL tools, data stage and Informatica were the tools. Okay, we use them and we ensure that millions of data has to be churned. And during I don't know how things have changed on tech side these
Hmm.
days, but at that time the millions of data and all these data were coming from different sources. Not everything
Right.
is DBMS. Some is legacy databases, some are DBMS, and all this. There were no tools which will interact with all these data sources. So data stage or
Hmm.
Informatica was one of those great tools. So we
Got it.
used to extract all that, reconcile the sales reports, and send to Walmart at cluster level. Okay,
Okay.
from national level to cluster level, how the reconciliation works, and if there is any gap, what kind of report should be sent to management, and what kind of triggers should be done. I would say, though, I worked for 4 years.
Hmm.
First 2 years, I literally didn't understand what I was working on. Okay, because I was not getting picture of end business. Okay, हमें बस
Yeah.
बोला जाता था ये करना है, this is the logic, this you have to build, etc. And we somehow very tough to navigate because I didn't see the end picture. And always this has driven me कि यार अब भी करेंगे कुछ भी करेंगे आगे, we'll be on the business side. We don't want to be sitting somewhere doing something which has, frankly speaking, there's a lot of effort that we put in didn't work for and business also, because we were not given full picture. So just one reason we say I wanted to be on the business side. Which business, I have no idea. Okay, we want to be businesses. Second, uh, I wanted to actually go for a residential college. I've never been in a residential college. Okay, my graduation in Andhra University was a
Right.
day scholar.
Right.
घर से उठता था, बस पे जाता था, आता था शाम को खेलता था. But I used to hear so many good stories, exciting stories about hostel life. I wanted to go for a residential
Hmm.
college. Okay. And third, my brother has done MBA from IIM Calcutta. Okay. These three were reasons where
Got it.
I felt
And of course,
I
you
need
didn't
to
want
go.
to follow any one of your siblings. You didn't want to do anything like that. So this
Yeah,
was
I'm
just a
saying, right,
coincidence.
somewhere I didn't want to, but I was ending up doing it. Okay. So,
This is my theory. This is my theory. I'm seeing people around me, very small sample set, people around me, close to me, and now including my kids. My son is the older one. He's good in science. My daughter will stay away from science. He's like, I don't like science. I don't like science. And then you see her report card. Science is excellent. Everything else is good. I'm like, no, no, I don't like science. It's like she's making an effort, going out of the way, forgetting कि यार हमारे genes ही वहीं से आए हैं. Like both me and my wife, we are like electronics graduates and all that. तो मैं से यार genes तुम्हारे
Hmm.
वहीं से आए हैं, फिक्र मत करो, तुम वहीं जाओगे. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
So just taking
Yeah.
So yeah,
one
So
step
no,
back.
sorry. So,
me-
so your brother, I am Calcutta. How old is your brother? How older than
he's
you?
2 years 2 years elder to
Yeah,
me. So
and
I'm
your sister
2013
isn't
15
IM, some
batch.
other IM.
Sorry? No, no, she's not
Your
from it.
sister isn't IM.
She
Okay,
No, no, she's from Andhra University. She's a computer science graduate. She used to work with Tech Mahindra. Now she is in Australia working with Infosys.
got it, got it. So you followed your sister on Infosys and or somehow I don't know in tech, and you
Yeah,
followed your
yeah,
brother. Okay, but you did not following. Sorry, jokes apart. So you decided
yeah,
to
yeah,
prepare for CAT. You had someone in the family who's been there, done that.
yeah. See, I started preparing for CAT during my graduation days only, just that I couldn't get through. Okay, then I joined Infosys, and I always used to mm, give an attempt, but I didn't get colleges of my choice. But once my brother got in IIM Calcutta, that's when I got additional pressure. कि यार अभी तो करना ही पड़ेगा. There's no one more year for me. Till that time,
Hmm.
he's not getting. I was like, ठीक है, I've got one more year, one more. Because what I was doing at Infosys, so I was learning, I was enjoying, but I used to get a very good infrastructure to play cricket. Okay,
Hmm.
Infosys has got very good in cricket infrastructure, cricket team. I used to practice every day. I used to play for Hyderabad clubs, and I used to love my life: cricket, biryani, and work. Okay, but once my brother got into MBA, I realized, okay, I don't have time. Now I have to crack something. So
Hmm.
this was way back in 2012, when this was work, cat preparation till 2 a.m., work, cat preparation till 2 a.m., work, cat preparation till 2 a.m. And thankfully, I remember uh, 2013, around this time when results came in, March, March, Richa was already there in IIM Udaipur. Okay.
Okay.
So I
And you
actually
already
asked
so
Richa. I
so
mean,
you already knew Richa from Infosys, right?
yes, I knew her.
Okay.
We were colleagues. We were not best of the friends, but still we knew each other.
You were both
We had
in
common
Right.
you were both
friends,
in
etc.
ETL.
So I asked her,
Were you
how
both
is
in
IIM
ETL?
Udaipur?
You were both in the same unit in
Sorry.
Infosys, or
We worked briefly. So I was in Mangalore for some time. I met Richa there, and she was in Hyderabad for some time where I was working. So we had few common. We shared few common time in same developer DCs, same offices. But again, we were not best of the friends, or we used to not like we used to hang out each other every day. But that I asked Richa how is IIM Udaipur, and she gave some good feedback. I trusted, and I've got some other reasons why I joined IIM Udaipur. I wanted to be away from South. I want to see different part of the country now because I've seen the southern part. I've got Tiruchi, Ranchis of the world. I said no. I'll see a different culture, different side of the country, and learn something different. Um, So that was one of the reasons why I went to IIM Udaipur. And yes, and I always I didn't want to be end up in a tech world. I saw a lot of my on-site counterparts from Infosys who go there, work during the day with clients. During the night, they work with us, and kind of uh, I felt, I don't know how much wisdom I had at that time. I felt I did not want to do that. If at all I'll do something, I'll do where uh, I'll work at my own time. But it never happened till now. So I was wrong in my own
so,
assumptions. But these are some
so
of the
at
reasons
IIM
why I've
Udaipur,
ended up
Richa
in
was
Udaipur.
1 year senior to you. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. And again, these common things, her interest in, and one other thing that when I said I experiencing culture, people, etc., I love trying different cuisines of different places. I just love going to a particular place only to eat something. Okay, so I remember when I was in Mangalore, the kind of places I explored, and which I explored at that time. Even today, when we get before starting curry, we used to go to Mangalore, both of us, to eat only that particular dish. So the love for food and culture somewhere got us together in Ahmedapur. We both were part of a committee called Cultural Committee. Okay, we've done a lot of initiatives together, food festivals we've done for the batch, we've done cultural events for the batch, and we've worked very closely on that, and somehow got our wavelengths were matching with respect to execution and passion. Our understand our one thing that was fell in place from the beginning was our intent to say no, not to say no to anything. So anything that comes to our place, if we both are like, we both are on it, we used to say कि just take it, कर लेंगे यार, कर लेंगे. And it's our journeys after that will surprise you even more. It just started at IIM Udaipur, but
But Nischal, I have to say
coincidentally, and
this.
it's
I mean,
nothing.
I'm not even surprised. I'm not even surprised
Mm,
that you like food. I mean, of course, being a co-Delhiite with Richa, I'm not surprised about her. But I remember when I was doing rural marketing back in the day, more than 2 decades ago, I used to probably twice a year go to Vishakhapatnam. It was a big hub for my company and a big warehouse for the state and all that. And the only two things I remember about Vishakhapatnam is Vizag is खाना अच्छा था और आधे से ज़्यादा लोग नेवी वाले थे. Now, the moment you clarified that when you started that you don't have a food background, the first click in my mind was, अच्छा ठीक है ये नेवी वाला बंदा होगा. And that kind of turned out to be true. Navy family or food. That's the only thing. And I'd probably be wrong. If you pull up data and facts, I'm sure it's wrong. But those were the two things that have always stuck in my mind about
yeah.
Vizag.
I mean, I'm generally very close to the kitchen in the house. Okay, I'm generally even during my childhood, I always tag along with my mom. Okay, asking about what she's doing and eating it live. I mean, whatever she cooks, I keep on eating that even before it gets cooked, and ask why aise kyun paka. And I'm generally close to the kitchen to a level where I get some tantrums from my father or some of my relatives. Ki, why are you in kitchen more? Okay.
Hmm.
Till date, I cook more than my wife in my house. Okay. So in that way, I've got association, but I never had like Richa. I didn't have intent to go into chef or food business from the beginning. Okay, and two, I don't have science to actually create recipes, but I have all the intent to keep eating everything. Okay, and somewhere this also worked with us because she has intent to keep make cook something and make people eat, and she found a guinea pig in me, and it's for very long time till date. Anything she wants to try, it's me. Even because I generally don't say no to things. So even her husband says कि यार मुझे नहीं खाना आज तुम किसी और को पकड़ो तो so I am the first person for her. So I don't know in London and US if this is there or not, but we have this Dunzo types, right? I mean, we can book the delivery. So
Sorry, what's
there's
that?
a rider.
Come again?
We Dunzo type, Dunzo, VFast, Borzo. So what these guys do is they deliver packs from package anything between 2 points. We just book the rider. Okay,
Mix
Right.
and Vikas,
uh,
just for
delivery.
your
Basically, it's
information.
not from restaurant; it's from house to
Yeah,
house.
so
Yeah,
I'll just clarify, Nischal, that a little bit. So there's this entire service category, the number of companies operating in that space,
yeah,
where you can just ask a rider to take a package from point A to point B. So people use it if let's say you want to deliver food to
yeah,
a
yeah,
friend, you have forgot your lunch at home, anything like that, you have someone who is willing to pick it up from point A and deliver it at point B.
So by the sounds of
yeah,
it, it looks like a
Yeah,
courier
it's kind of
service which is
messenger service,
Uberized.
what they call in the US.
yeah,
And
yeah,
So, guys,
yeah,
I wanted to comment on something. I always like the food that's made at my home, and I think that's to make the point that Richard was making, that the dishes have been localized, right? Uh, but I think I like the food that's made in my home kitchen because it's like localized to me. My partner makes food that is like she exactly knows what kind of dal makhni I like or what kind of uh, malai kofta I like. And I'm not sure if I was if I went and I tasted a dal makhni which was not localized to me, how much I like it. Like I don't even know if what that. So your curry paste can be used as step one, and then it can be localized to the person eating the food at home. So, from what I understand, is that your target customer is homes and not restaurants. Would that be correct?
Yeah, largely.
Okay. And
See,
then,
two things
go
I
ahead.
would like to answer this. If uh, most of the dishes, there are two kinds of dishes. One which घर पे अपने हिसाब से बनता है, like that you're saying localized, of your mother's wife or किसी और का touch, whoever makes it. But there are some signature dishes, okay, that they boast of they its own originality. A dal makhani is one of such dishes. It has certain history to it, and everyone who tries to make the original one. Just that they can't make it, or if time they देंगे हमें ऐसे ही अच्छा लगता है, we'll try it. Okay, we can't replace anyone's house ka taste. Okay, and we don't want it. There's no intent. Okay, but what we are trying to do is to recreate a particular dish which has certain history and bring back the traditional recipe, not a localized or a restaurant wala dish. An Andhra mutton curry in Andhra Pradesh is made in so many different ways. So what's the most famous one? What's the original one? We go to the roots of it and try to recreate that. What is the Calcutta kosha mangsho that is traditionally was made in Calcutta? Now it has its own versions. सबके घर पे अलग बन जाता है. But the original कौन सा है उसको हम recreate करने की कोशिश करते हैं. And
Okay.
that's where, in fact, when we go to the curry part, we can double click this more. These dishes are co-created with the local chefs and local families. Okay, then we get that perfection कि ये exactly उस region का taste है. And by far we are the only brand who manufactures our own products. Okay, these are not contract manufactured, these are not restaurant style, these are not basis internet recipe. Okay, so we'll get to that
So,
little later.
so when I talk about,
Yeah,
when I try,
I think Nischal, let's get to that. Let's get to that. We will do their pitch in a bit. So that is when we are going to give them all the tough questions on their pitch about yeah, why are you so great. Uh, that was a hint on what kind of questions you might get. But so we've pretty much reached where the paths converged. You both were in Infosys. Somehow or the other, you both landed up in IIM Udaipur, inspired by another to some extent, maybe not fully. And then tell us what happened in IIM Udaipur and since then. If that is, if you both took, I'm assuming you both took similar journeys, or did you take separate journeys after IIM Udaipur?
There were separate journeys, but again, again by what we call not by design,
Hmm.
they merged very much. Okay,
Right.
so Richa have joined Yes Bank in marketing after her MBA. Okay, and I happened to join after. I mean, since I'm junior, I happened to join Yes Bank in marketing after 15 months later. Okay, we were in same company,
And she didn't
same
help you.
team.
She didn't help you in getting the placement. She didn't help you in anything.
Yeah, basically, I was working in a e-commerce industrial goods segment
Hmm.
company. There's an opening which Richa has said there's an opening. Apply, and I applied. That's how it
Okay,
is.
got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
and
So as
Richa
so she
was
helped you as a senior, as a friend, as an alumni.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Always good to
I wanted
have
to point
always
out,
good to have friends in the same team. We could take tea breaks
yes,
together.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
no,
She
no,
wanted to eat
that's
a lot more.
absolutely. I think that's how we should. That's how we should do. In fact, one of the just going back, one of the reasons why we have this channel at the start is with an ambition and a vision that how do we get IIM alumni across different IIMs, across different year groups to network with each other. Now, we may not provide the networking platform. That's, I think, there's an IMBA app and all that. But what we want to provide is a way for alumni to know each other. And of course, for aspirants to know what alumni do and to make IIM a global brand. So Richa, you got in Yes Bank first, and that's when Nischal went in there.
Yeah, so Nishal joined another company, and then I was in Yes Bank. There was a good opening, like Nishal mentioned, and it would have. I would have I wouldn't have had it anywhere else. Like there was an opening. I said, Nishal, please, you want to join? Does this look exciting? Referred him. He got selected, obviously on his own merit, and that's it. We were in the same team, just that I was looking at corporate marketing, and for Yes Bank, and Nishal was looking at retail. So we were complementing marketing there, and that is also something which is really useful today when we look back. So because he got this experience of retail and large scale campaigns, customer first, like the real outside retail customer. I, on the other hand, was looking at corporate scaling businesses and content licensing, etc. So this is these two skills have been like, and Yes Bank was amazing. I mean, today if everyone looks back and says that Yes Bank shares leadership, blah blah blah, I think our three both of us spent 3 years there, and I think it was one of the most uh, it was a very steep learning curve. The leadership was very clear about that there are certain deliverables and some things, milestones that we have to achieve as a brand, and we learned a lot. When you're in an MBA college, all the Kotler and everything is great, right? But how many of us get to apply marketing per se from day one? Very few, very very few. And we see marketing in a very different way in an MBA college. We see, oh, there's going to be the 4 P's and the 4 C's and then the 4 S and everything. There's going to be pestle and port and Kotler and Porter and everything. But in real corporate world, that's not how it works, right? There's real application that you have to think about building a brand. And for Nishal, he was building a retail brand for Yes Bank. I was building a leadership brand for Yes Bank. And it's so important, when we look back now, to see that we applied marketing from day one in Yes Bank. And we also learned things like, we were putting up standees one day. Next day, we were meeting government officials. Third days, we were probably launching a credit card. Fourth day, probably we were at a polo ground, sponsoring a really big polo game. Fifth day, we were Nishal was probably looking at launching a startup program, a whole new product at the bank. And then I would be looking at something like meeting the finance minister, the defense minister, railway minister for government banking associations. So this is really something that we thought that it's amazing how many of us actually get that chance to do such a large range of marketing activities, right? So that is where both of us learned. And I think at Udaipur, I think I'll just take a moment and tell you a little more about IIM Udaipur, because it plays a very very important role in our journey today as Curryit also. And so see, I was the second batch. Nishal was the third batch, right? In an institution like an IIM, right?
Richa,
If you're the
second batch
in
means
an
when did IIM Udaipur, remind me, when did IIM Udaipur start?
start, 2011 was
2009,
the first batch.
11.
2011.
11 is the start of the first batch. So 13 is the.
Correct. And that was 50 people. That's it. So
Got
50
it.
seniors, and so literally they were the one, and we didn't have a campus. We were actually in another university's campus. So you have and Professor Janat Shah, who was our director back then. I think he did a splendid job in making that one building itself as an independent unit. It would look very different. It was a full-fledged functional IIM. Now, when you're a second batch, see, the first batch spent 1 year only figuring out how the hostel rooms will run, right? And that there are 50 people, they're still figuring out the courses. The professors are coming in from Ahmedabad, Bangalore, visiting faculties there. And then the second batch comes up. So they get these another 100 set of hands to work and set the culture. How many of us today can go back and say that we introduced, yeah, launched the cultural committee, the placement committee, the finance clubs, the marketing clubs, or we set a culture? Very very few, right? So I think we were extremely lucky. We It was literally our first startup together, both for Nishchal and me. It was from managing from from setting up these committees, growing, setting up cultures, to actually learning how to build, starting something with the idea of it lasting for the next like 50, 60 years, right? That's how you start a company also, right? To build something for generations. So back then you don't realize it because you're so young and busy doing all of this, getting things done. But it inherently builds into you to think long term. And today, whenever at Curryit also, whenever we are talking, we never talk the next 12 months, 6 months, next fundraise. No, it's always the next 20 years, 30 years, next generation, etc. So, the
What
idea
you're not
has to
looking
be.
at, are you not looking at cash flow and cash burn?
No, no, of course we are. See, that is that you can't survive a business without learning, without doing cash flows, cash burns, working capital. But the business
Yes.
decisions that you take, there's one thing that oh my god, I'm gonna live on. We're gonna build a company, fundraise to fundraise. That's one approach, right? And then the second approach is you have to be patient. There's an end goal that you see, and you're like, okay, this is gonna take this much time, we're gonna do these things, and there are five things we'll never do. So having that clarity when you think long term is very important. So I think that comes from our experience of IIM Udaipur together. Plus,
I think
when
that's
you
a great segue, Richa. That's a great segue into the pitch. Shall we then go into maybe your pitch, a 5 minute pitch, and then we'll probably take another 5 to 10 minutes of questions as an investor would. So I will give you a brief background. You've probably caught that I'm a foodie. I have been a healthcare investor uh, for more than a decade, decade and a half. And then over the last few years, I have tried to merge the two. Food is healthcare and healthcare is food is what I'm currently looking at. How can good food, wholesome, non-UPS and so on, how can I improve? Now, whether that's through meat replacements, whether that's through other areas, so be it. So I'm an investor. Chow, as you know, Chow, you'll give the introduction. He's a founder, but also an investor, and Vix in a similar way, but they can give their introductions.
So basically, we are what we're trying to do in a nutshell is make cooking extremely easy and quick and hassle free for everyone across the world, especially when it comes to Indian cooking. So, we'll give you a quick uh, insight on how we started. So now you know that both of us are absolutely crazy about food, and after this call you will also realize that we're so obsessed with food that we talk in a food language. Matlab, today we are still being very very conservative with our words and talking more Hindi, English, rather than talking aloo, chicken, mutton, what a spicy mood it is. No, we're not doing that. But we're very involved in food, and that's the reason why. While both of us said we always had this thing that we want to start something, but it had to be in food. Both of us are passionate. We know that this is something that we deeply understand or feel for, and so that was the idea. But so we went through a lot of ideas, and but we wanted to build or make something which is actually a real problem to solve, something that does not go out of fashion. It's actually scalable. It's not just a service, it's a product, something that will remain relevant for a very, very long time. It's not seasonal, and becomes a solution for a very big problem. So, this was the underlying condition. We said we'll do only when we can build something which is solving a really large problem. So we said, okay, let's start from here. We're gonna talk to a lot of people and understand what is their relationship with food. We're going to understand everything. What do they think about food? What do they feel for food? How do they consume food? How do they cook food? Where do they cook food? Where do they buy food from? Anything and everything to do with food, time, pattern, plates, cutlery, everything. So we said, let's find that out, and we'll find our problem statement in that. So we spoke to close to 300 people. We understood all these little things, and we didn't make a questionnaire per se. We did some guiding questions, spoke to people and tried to find out these little nuances when it comes to food. Like, you guys are having that podcast. You don't have a set of 20 questions, right? You're trying to have a conversation with us to find those nuggets of information that will be useful, right? Similarly, we did that. We had conversations with about 300 people. And out of those 300 conversations, close to 300, what we figured was that most people, and most matlab 90%, prefer to consume homemade food. But what is happening is that either due to lack of time, or lack of knowledge, or lack of resources, or even very small kitchen spaces, that that behavior is going down, right? We are becoming nuclear families. Women have entered workforce. There's little time. And now, if you noticed, our kitchens have become very smaller, right? Very small. Earlier, if you remember, houses used to be this big verandas with small bedrooms, large kitchens, right? And then we moved into flats which also had medium kitchens and medium rooms. And then we moved into modular kitchens, and then we moved into open kitchens. Now we are into island kitchens, and soon we are entering community kitchens in condos, right? So what that is saying is that the time being spent in the kitchen is so much that they don't that the new generation of working professionals don't have that much time or resources, or even they don't even have the space to stock up their groceries for a very long time. पहले क्या होता था, 1 month shopping, we'll go and we'll stock it up, sometimes even 2-3 months, right? Now that's not the case. So but everyone prefers to have home cooked meal. Very simple reason: it's more healthy, it's economical, it's more long term. It's not something that you want to order in again and again, right? So there's less stress. And so this was the problem statement. And we figured that what was happening was that while they want to cook, a lot of time and effort was going into the cooking process. And then we simplified and understood what was the process that was taking max time. So what we figured was that buying purchase material, prepping up for the main dish, and cooking the sauce was taking away almost 80-85% of the time. And it was only the last 10% where the main ingredient, like your chicken or your paneer or your rice or your dal, was being added. Now what we saw was that there were two solutions. One was solution was the masalas that were existing: garam masala, dal masala, rajma masala. And then there was an extreme of ready to eat. So you heat and eat, or you use the dry masala, do all the cutting, chopping, roasting, add the dry masala, and then you cook it. This was taking, with the dry masala, 2 hours to cook. This was a heat and eat, which, you now you can imagine whether a heat and eat is something that you want to do every day for your family and your loved ones. I don't think so, right? We figured that heat and eat was something like an emergency solution for most people. Nothing is working, I'm going to die, I'm not able to survive, I have no energy, I'm going to do a heat and eat. Then masalas were like an indulgence cooking. Saturday, Sunday, I can spend 2 hours cooking. Every day, I am not able to cook. So I'm gonna either hire a cook, or I'm going to do those 2-3 things which are very easy to do. Normal dal, sabzi, which make every day, right? So we said, can we simplify this cooking process so that anyone can cook food in less than 15-20 minutes without this hassle of cutting, chopping. So this was the whole idea where we started. And we said, okay, this is a great opportunity. And then we went back and we saw that, what can we do? Can we make a gravy? Can we make a paste? Can we make a cube? Now cube, there were different options. Obviously there were options of doing cubes and dry masala, dry cubes, like, those instant masala cubes. That means dehydrating your sauce or your tarka to at about 400 degrees. Now what that does to your nutrition and quality of food, you can imagine, right? So we said, we're not going to do that. We are not going to do this. We are not going to add preservatives. We are not going to add chemicals. Is there a better way? So we said, we're going to let's try curry paste. So we launched curry paste as a as a concept back when we were still in our jobs, and we said, let's test this. And we started with these small samples in our glass jars. We would do these small pop-ups. We get people to taste, get people to try, and tell them about the concept, and they would just not believe this, that how is it possible, 15 in 15 minutes they could have a paneer butter masala or a butter chicken, by just adding chicken and water, and it was fresh without preservatives. It was delicious. So we said we tried and tested that concept through sampling while we were in our own jobs. And the result of that sampling was overwhelming. 8 out of 10 people said, we want to buy it, please give it. And people would buy those little jars with 30-day shelf life, no preservatives, no packaging technology, nothing. People would buy. Then that's where, after a certain period, we said, this is something that people really like and they want. So let's now think about scaling this and launching in a more sustainable, scalable fashion. Glass jars were not still scalable. That's where we came into the idea of launching Curryit pan India. Simply curry paste. Since you guys are in the US, and Chow, you have been in the US, you will be familiar with the concept of curry paste. These are basically your concentrated form of your gravy or your tarka, to which you just add your your main protein or your rice, etc. Cook it with little bit of water, and that's it. So you are making the end dish, and the taste is how authentic it can be. So this was the idea how we started Curryit. And we said we want to launch only the most ordered dishes, the most searched recipes, something which is very complex and people have to spend at least 2-3 hours in making. So say a butter chicken, a dal makhni, which typically takes 3-4 hours to cook, a Hyderabadi biryani, another 3 hours, a chettinad chicken, a rogan josh, things are cooked overnight, right? We said we are going to simplify this. We use data from obviously YouTube searches, Zomato orders, etc., to find out those best dishes. They were no brainers. Most restaurants keep the best sellers, so you know which dishes people want to order and make at home. And we started with that. So with the vision of making Indian cooking extremely easy and hassle-free and quick. We saw there were solutions in the breakfast category, cereals, upma, poha. Then we saw snacking category, but we saw there was nothing for the main course, where actually an average mother or a wife or whoever's cooking and responsible for the meal of the family is spending 5-6 hours a day to put those meals on the table, right? So we decided we're going to launch that. We launched Curryit in a fashion that in a way that we had to add no preservatives, no chemicals, no additives, emulsifier, nature identical flavoring, bullshit, nothing. That is the ethos that Curryit is based on. So what could we do? We could innovate on the way we cook and the way we package it. So how we cook is very proprietary, and our recipes are proprietary. Like Nischal was mentioning in our conversation earlier, we actually work with the locals and chefs in that region to put together recipes which go back ages. So why locals and chefs? See, locals have been passing on this wisdom of recipes over generations. There's a particular authentic taste to a region. And second, chefs have that science of balancing the flavors. It has to be scalable, right? Like at home when you cook, you just use a pinch of salt. Now there's nothing called pinch of salt when you're standardizing a product. So chefs and science helps in putting that together. So that's how we make every recipe. And then we said now we have to cook it in a way that it is naturally preserved for at least X number of days. And then we have to package it in a way that that shelf life gets extended for a to a sane number, that it becomes scalable, shippable, expandable, exportable, etc. So today, because of our cooking and packaging techniques, we actually have a 12-month shelf life without any preservatives or adding anything at all. It's exactly how you cook it at home or in that local area where it's cooked. And the moment you open a curry pack, you will never ever smell anything foul, vinegar, preservative, chemical, nothing. It's going to be exactly like how you would have made it right now. So that is what we're giving to the world. We launched with curry paste. We also launched biryani paste. Then we launched tadkas. We launched ginger garlic paste. We've now launched into a everyday usage category. So we have 100% ownership of the product. We're the only brand in the country to have our own manufacturing. We don't do any contract manufacturing. Our recipes are proprietary, and our sourcing is very tight. We have, in the sense sourcing is tight. When I say, I mean that, the onions that go into a pav bhaji are different from the onions that go into a Purani Dili ke chole. So the grade of onions have to be defined, and the right vendor has to give it to us so that the taste is authentic and it meets the proprietary recipe. So that much control we have on the product. What our own manufacturing does is obviously quality control, faster go to market. Our gross margins remain with us. There are no MOQs, and we're able to scale and get the benefit whenever we introduce new products, because in our line of products, 80-85% of ingredients are the same, right? So when we scale, we get benefits of economies of scale from our own manufacturing. It's very easy to test. So we also, so quickly to introduce, so we have Mr. Ramesh Sharma, who actually comes with 35 years of experience in operations, food operations, manufacturing, and he's been ex-Taj. He has been a serial entrepreneur himself, and he brings this understanding of SOPs in a scalable fashion. How can we make a SOP which is scalable and tightly manage operations, quality control? He's one of those people who's actually brought quality control into India through international certifications. So our process is very tight in terms of quality control, SOPs, and delivery. Even in terms of partners that we onboard, vendors, they're very strict. So that's something that is very unique to us. In 2022 is when we March 2022 is when we launched Curryit Pan India. So it's been exactly 2 years. We have actually we service almost 16,000 pin codes across India. We have delivered from Northeast to Kanyakumari to Andamans, and it's overwhelming to see how customers absolutely love us. And they have, in fact, a lot of customer engagement and a lot of interactions have helped us develop more products. And we've launched different products. We started with 6 products. Today we are at 15 products, 16 now. We started with our own website. Now we are across 10 different channels. We are on Amazon, Blinkit, Zepto, Big Basket, Swiggy very soon. We are in retail stores, select retail stores in Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai. And with 50K customers, I think our biggest strength has been our NPS score. They love us. We have a highest rating across Amazon for all our products. And what that says is that, once someone tries the product, they stay with us, they come back because of the quality of the product, the ease with which it is used. And we also have been very, very we've been very lucky and very proud of being awarded several awards for such a product innovation and customer love. So that has been our journey till now.
So, in short, we've given the genesis of Curryit, how we started, what we started off with, and where we are currently with respect to product categories. Just continuing that, the top 5 things that makes us different and a good option for a consumer is its taste. Anything in food, unless the taste is there, we cannot be in customer's house. So we are very proud to say that we are trying to bring original taste, and it is sometimes debatable at customer level. We see a by Vishakhapatnam person doesn't understand the taste of butter chicken or a paneer butter masala. They might not like the sweetness in it, right? But end of the day, that's how it is. It is supposed to be little bit on the sweeter side. It will be on the sweeter side. Okay, so that's how original we are. People who sometimes don't realize the original taste might find it a little different, but that's how it is. Because on the other day I was at Novotel, and the Rogan Josh that they're serving is not Rogan Josh. It's just red color mutton curry with some nonsense. But यहाँ के लोग को पता ही नहीं है. So that's one of the things that we do is we always say it. 80% of the people who know would love the taste and the authenticity. People who don't know will realize how authentic it is, and how they'll realize how the other dishes they were eating are not original. Huh? Second is we our DNA is that we'll not add anything that is artificial or nature identical. So all our ingredients are 100% fresh and natural ingredients, and that will remain across categories. That is our DNA. Okay, we don't use palm oil or dalda or any sub quality oils. We use ghee. To an extent we use mustard oil, groundnut oil in some region basis the regional recipes. Okay, most of the products are in almost all the products using which a customer can complete the dish in 5 to 15 minutes, unlike other brands where it is generally a complicated cooking procedure. Okay, and we are proud to say we have the largest range in the world, including the ones that you have in curry paste. We have the largest range, including the ones that you have in UK. Patak's, one of the oldest brands in this space, doesn't have this much range. So how we started? This is a brief journey for last 7 quarters. Currently, we are doing around, excluding March, we are doing about 14-15 lakhs per month. That is about 45 lakh per quarter. That's where we are, and this has been our journey. Um, Largely we drive our sales through our website. We're a D2C brand. We started off as a D2C brand. Website gives us great opportunity to narrate the story, narrate the brand, give the value to a customer. So on an average order value on a website is about 650, 663 to be precise, which uh, entails to 3 products. Generally, लोग 3 प्रोडक्ट खरीदते हैं, and the repeat cohort when they come back, they buy, their average order value is about 56% more than the initial one, because what they like it, they buy more. They have the range, they'll try more variants, and the ones which they'll buy in more quantity. Okay, and we have about 36% average repeat rate across channels. This is the one which we could calculate, and some of the things we cannot calculate. People who buy on other marketplaces, we don't have the data. Generally they discover us on our website, and they go back and buy in marketplaces because that is more very convenient to them, but we don't have the data, so generally it's on the higher side. Okay, and when we do this exercise constantly, we speak to a customer base, and 72% choose Curryit for its taste, and about 65 to 69% for the convenience. The fact that there's no other utensil that need to be used, the fact that they don't have to do cutting chopping, the fact that they don't need to know the recipe or the cooking procedure, they love us for that. But one thing that's generally comes across as a challenge and an opportunity is, लोग ना ये बिलीव नहीं करते कि इतना टेस्ट आ सकते थे, और जनरली लगता है कि कुछ कॉम्प्रोमाइज टेस्ट है. That's why trials are very important, and we do online trials through our website, yes, but we also do offline activations. In fact, Richa and I personally, we've conducted more than 100 offline activations. It's about 130 now, where we spoke to more than 15,000 people over the last 2 years personally, and we convince them to try the curry, our paste. We demonstrate live in front of them, and we see 8 out of the 10 people who taste generally become a Curryit customer. They have a certain apprehensions about RTC range, and when we speak, when we give them the taster and we show them in front of them by cutting open the packet and cook in front of them, they just love it. And that would be our future way also, to get the trials through demonstrations done at larger scale. We have certain ideas for that, and we are already in the process of executing them. So this is, as Richa was mentioning, our strength is our NPS. Most of the people love us because of the authenticity of the taste. It's not compromised. अगर आंध्रा मटन करी में लाल मिर्च का डोमिनेशन बहुत ज्यादा है, इतना है कि some few people will not like, हमारा में रहेगा. That's it. And that अगर चेटिनाड में ब्लैक पेपर का ज्यादा रहेगा तो रहेगा. That's it. So these are the small things which makes people love us more than just and it will help us. It is helping us to create a more loyal base than a transactional relationship with a customer. And how are we looking at it for future is this: next 12 months are very critical for us. So what we are doing is, we are going to more channels. Fundamentally, we've driven all the sales through our website and Amazon so far in India. Now, with our new product category launch, we've launched ginger garlic paste. We are launching And mind you, we are the only brand in the country to have a ginger garlic paste without any preservatives, chemicals, colors, stabilizers, thickeners, anything. I mean, you'll be surprised, the brands like Dabas of the world, the ITs of the world, everyone using some other additive and compromising and selling some product. We are the only ones, and it's an instant hit. Already we were top three on Amazon at some point. Now we are in top five. Uh, we are launching it across Q-commerce and marketplaces, and this is going to be we are going to launch few more products in the same category, like a garlic paste, tomato puree, only tomatoes, no nonsense. And as we said, our DNA would be this: जो खाना बनता है, that Vikas was asking, people like घर का खाना. Absolutely, people like घर का खाना. वो घर का खाने को ही how we can give in a truest form in a packaged food, in a packaged way, is what we will do. We will not even 0.00001% of the thing which will not make it घर का खाना. Okay, for example, people say no preservatives, no chemicals. Someone will have a dehydrated onion in place of onion, real onions. We will not do it. घर का खाना नहीं है dehydrated onion. That's what would be us, and that's how our new categories would be there. So we are targeting in next 12 months. We are targeting to have uh, MRR of about 50 to 70 lakhs. Okay, and by December we'll be targeting 90 to 100 lakhs. December to March quarter pe 90 to 100 lakhs per month, and largely this is through Indian market only. Okay, about 12% would be international contribution, because we're still testing the markets. We are not present there physically. We're just testing some of the channels. Once one of the channel clicks, that's when we'll invest more with respect to team as well as distribution too. Okay, so the key focus for next 12 months is to build brand in India and test different q-commerce channels for regular product categories. Okay, parallelly there'll be product innovation, which will I'll show you. The phase 2, 12 to 24 months of the following period, we would target an MRR of 4 cr per month. Okay, that's when we'll penetrate more into international markets. We'll diversify product range, and the focus would be to grow profitable channels and continue product innovation. The phase 3 would be a bigger one, where we will deepen markets, we'll go offline in a big way. Our product portfolio would be more than 10 to 15 categories, and eventually what we want to become, I think Richa might have covered this earlier, we want to become anything that you want uh, to cook at home. It will have three different dimensions: ease, quality, and convenience. In with these three things, anything that you need to cook at home, we would be there. Okay, so this is a 3-year outlook, and largely the breakup of spends that we're looking at, this is for next 12 months, is to build the brand. There'll be a lot of focus to actually create content and create brand and be visible for people. So far we've been visible in only limited capacities through digital channels, that too only for converting sales. But largely the idea is to be available, be do a lot of collaborations, create content, create a brand imagery, brand perception among consumer, that we stand for high quality Indian food without compromising in the input as well as output, input ingredients, output taste. Okay, and to get the more trials by taste, we'll spend enough money on that front. We are very lean so far. We are just Richa and me, and we have close to 3 people in the team on the front end, who is managing marketing operations. And the back end, we have under Mr. Ramesh Sharma, we have 7 to 8 people who is doing the production in factory, who manages the production factory and inventory. That's it. We don't have anyone else. And with this team, we've achieved the product market fit. We know what products work for what channels. We know what products won't work for what channels. We are also discovering what markets are good for what products. Our ginger garlic paste we launched in US in March first week. We sent certain inventory to test in March. All the inventory, we sent about 200 units. The inventory was sold out in 7 days. without any advertisement. And we realized, okay, this is some of the products which work in that market. Some of the products doesn't. Dal makhani didn't work in US so far, frankly speaking, but it might work in UK because a lot of Punjabis are there in UK. We'll be in the journey where we'll figure out what market would work for what product category, and accordingly we'll scale it in next phase. This is a current product portfolio. We have curry paste. We mentioned that's what we started off with. We have instant tadka mixes. The south tadka, the north tadka are different. This is a chonk that you're mentioning. We have this. All you have to do is add to your dal, your sabzi, or idli, and you get the dish done. It's an innovative dish, innovative product, and it has, frankly speaking, the Punjabi tadka has got good adoption. The South tadka did not fly so far. Maybe it needs some rebranding. We are looking into it. We've got everyday essential ginger garlic paste, which already launched, and we are looking at more everyday products to launch in next 2 months. The future categories that I was talking about, and phase one, phase two, phase three, are these. We'll be there in masalas and spices again with the same DNA, getting the original ingredients, getting the regional masales, not a generic one. MDH does meat masala for entire country, same meat masala. Meat masala हर जगह अलग बनता है. Okay, so we'll get into the regional masala spices. Now, there's huge scope in cooking oils. There's a lot of adulteration that happens with our DNA. We can really win this segment. We have chutneys, podis, mixes, and then soups. There are a lot of things that we can do again without actually changing the our supply chain too much. Our supply chain can still be largely same apart from couple of categories. We can do the same kind of products too. Okay, and this is us. We were mentioning earlier the first part of this entire session. We talked about how we traveled to places to get those recipes, how we experienced the culture to get the minute details of the recipe, and how we are trying to bring back the original dishes which were there generations back. And this is the team. Richa spoke about Mr. Ramesh Sharma, ex-Taj, myself, and Richa. We three joined our hands long back, and now we have a team of about 12 people who are running the show. Yeah, this is us.
Perfect. So I have
Fantastic.
a million questions, Nischal, but I will let Tao go first because most
Hmm.
importantly, he's the only one
Hmm.
amongst us who has tried your
Yeah,
products.
please.
Okay. So, as I said in the beginning, Nischal, the only product which I tried among these till now is the paneer
But
masala.
butter masala, I guess, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I made paneer with it, not the chicken. And my personal thought was, as Vikas mentioned, it was not how we cook at home, but again, as you mentioned, uh, how we cook is probably not the original taste. So I just need to take from there. I think that part of the messaging needs to come out much more strongly,
Okay.
and that it's probably not projected as much, so that people are aware when they are testing it that yes, they should expect this. That is one part.
Yeah.
The other was, is are there different package sizes that you are
Yeah.
having for the same product? Because uh,
We sent
we
you
had
two
like half the,
sizes.
yeah, we have half the packet which was
Yeah, yeah.
left over. We're a little confused with it. कि अच्छा अभी
No,
इसको
we sent you two packs, two sizes. That's why. Okay.
okay,
So the bigger one is for pack of it's for family of 4 to 6 people. Okay. In other words, it can
hmm,
cook 1 kg meat. Okay. The smaller one you can cook 500 grams of meat. Okay.
okay. So the
And
same same paste is available in different package sizes is what I'm assuming.
yeah, yeah, same product in two sizes.
Got it.
On our website, we sell big packs because the AOV and the unit economics doesn't sit with the smaller ones. On
Hmm.
Q-commerce and retail stores, etc., we sell the small ones.
Understood. Okay. So that was one thing, and I personally felt it was very much more suitable for the student and expat population
Hmm.
than for us. But again,
Hmm.
the advantage that we have in your target demographics is that we have the privilege of having
Wholesale.
cooks available to us. So
Yeah.
the time gap which we are saving is probably not there. And I would admit that yes, we tried it. The day the cook did not come, right? So we had that as an option that yes, okay, this is the
Our
perfect time
biggest
to curry.
competitor is House Help in India
Yeah,
for this curry paste range. Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
So, but having said that, yes, I personally like the concept and uh, how you guys have scaled it. One of the things which I'm unclear about, you mentioned that you own the manufacturing fully. You have a very lean team, as you mentioned, some 7 8 people under Mr. Ramesh, and then a few people on the front end. So normally you see a lot of contract manufacturing happening in packaged food category, right? There is
Yeah.
rarely any, and I know you want to have quality control and so on, but doesn't that make you very capex intensive?
No. So the two parts of it. We are seeing it as phase one and phase two. Okay. In phase one, when our volumes are low, okay,
Mm-hmm.
when we are trying to get the PMF, we are trying to test new products. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think the self manufacturing is a boon. Okay, we have our own. The go-to market is so quick. Today, you and I discuss and say, "Yeah, ये product launch करते हैं because of the market. It's coming from market. We can launch in next 30 days." Contract manufacturer need to give a minimum MOQ of 50,000 or 1 lakh units. Okay, so as we scale, contract manufacturer will help in improving our overall unit economics as well as time. But again, at this we have capacity of, so current capacity we can do about 35 to 40K units per month. Okay, including, in fact, including ginger curry, etc., about 50,000 units per month we can do in our capacity. We can go to 80,000 to 90,000 units per month by just increasing certain infrastructure within the same facility. Beyond that,
Okay.
we'll definitely have partial contract manufacturers. There'll be different partnerships. But first, let's get to that level where we understand what are the products that would fly, what needs contract manufacturer, what needs better unit economics, what needs to leverage better what do you call unit economies of scale. Because as we our current gross margin is about 64%. As we scale, our gross margins will only become better because we have better bargaining power to buy more input ingredients. It can be onions, tomatoes, anything. So that, as we scale, definitely agree with you. We'll have better advantage with the contract manufacturer for some product categories. But current category mein, current is pay, because of our own manufacturing, we have complete control, as well as we can go to market easily, and we can in fact kill a product easily if it doesn't fly.
Good. And so right now, are you guys bootstrapped or do you have any funding
So
already?
yeah, we are a funded company. Okay, way back in 2020 one and 2022 beginning, December time pe, we were part of an accelerator program. Okay, that's when
Okay.
RPSG Capital has invested in us, and IIM Udaipur, our own alma mater, has invested in us, and that's the after at that time we were working on our respective organizations too. We had a prototype working in NCR, and we left our jobs and we launched it in March 2022. Okay, after that we've done one bridge round. We are fortunate to have likes of Mr. Ramesh Damani, DMart chairman, okay, and a couple of other HNIs who has entrepreneurs, okay, who has put in money, which helped us to actually change the entire packaging. The initial packaging, you can see the jars and this packs in the image, you can see, right? It didn't have any
Mhm.
image of the final dish. And when we went offline, we realized the final dish has to be there. So packaging, the new product launch team, going into marketplaces, etc. It helped. That using that capital, we scaled. We were doing about 2 3 lakhs when we raised, and now we are doing about 15 lakhs. Uh, Now we are almost at the fag end of another bridge round that we are doing before we go to Series A. Okay, we are planning about 3.5 CR per round. Okay, in which 2.4 to 2.5 is already committed, and documentation is already in progress. Okay, and we are looking at that 1 CR gap, which will help us to achieve whatever targets we mentioned in the phase one, so that we can go to series A and get into more categories and launch more products and scale very fast.
Got it. And eventually, when you look at, let's say, 2 years, 3 years down the line, how many SKUs do you think you will end up having, just to get a sense?
See, more than SKUs, I think it would be interesting to see categories. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so currently these are the three categories that we are operating in. Okay, we are strengthening the third category here as everyday essentials in this quarter itself, April, May, June. We'll be adding 3 to 4 new SKUs in everyday essentials in this quarter. We already tested the product. We've got the nutrition reports. We've got the shelf life reports. Everything. Okay, we are getting the packaging done. Okay, as we move next cycle pay, the year one, the masala and spices would be picking up. Okay, huge category. In fact, I don't know you're aware of it or not, but MDH Masala has got 900 crores EBITDA positive. Yes, it has its own vintage. They've gone there. I'm just saying there's a huge opportunity to just double click that category itself. We are already in the process of product innovation there. The product trials are going on. It's matter of time, then we'll launch that product, that we'll open that particular window. Okay, and there's another category, the chutneys, podis and mixes, podi mixes, etc. is comes very naturally to Curryit. Okay, these are two categories that will unlock first, then the other categories will unlock. So, frankly speaking, you see us as um, a new age brand which cuts across ITC food, MDH, uh, uh, and see that there are these brands which are doing certain products for Indians and Indians across the world, or people who love Indian food across the globe, but have certain compromised inputs as well as output metrics. We will be a clean label brand in the same segment and capturing the market and standing there only for one thing, that is truly Indian, authentic, and clean label is what we'll stand for. And these categories are just there to be won. And another important thing is these are the categories where it's not a place where it's winner take all category. Multiple players will stand there, run there, and earn there as long as they have good product and their brand fundamentals are true. We have to create a brand which stands for whatever we are saying. It's not easy. We have to put money, we have to put effort, we have to put team who believes in this particular vision and create this brand over the year. And the sky is limit to just capture these categories.
So this is a very crowded category, as
Got
you
it.
mentioned,
That,
with a lot of local players in each local
Yeah,
segment. For
yeah,
example, in being in Bangalore, I see a lot of local brands with body
yeah,
mixes, chutneys, and so on, and
yeah. But no
a
one
lot
is
of
doing good.
unbranded as well.
अनब्रांडेड तो है ही हर जगह, फूड है अनब्रांडेड तो
Huh.
होगा ही. But we have to see how many products are good. So most of the people are not able to scale because the product is not good. The chutneys, uh, recently ID Fresh has launched a chutney. Okay,
Hmm.
before ID Fresh there are so many brands who have launched chutneys. No one has done well. Reason being, they're doing in the same. See, the input metrics are your ingredients, your oils. Then the next step comes the cooking procedure. Next comes the packaging process. These are three fundamental stages. So if you don't
Hmm.
compromise on all three, your output would be good. ID Fresh is doing it, and their product is already superior to any one in the market. Immediately, it will capture the market. There'll be local players. There'll be a lot of regional this thing, but to make a national and international brand, there's a huge scope, and we can do it. Not we are not saying we can do it. A lot of people can do it, but we will
so
do it.
on that, Nichal, on that. So yes, there are loads of
Yeah.
local players.
Mhm.
Is don't
Mhm.
local players for a consumer get better space of mind for being more authentic versus the branded players for a consumer? be like, okay, this may or
Might
may
be.
not be authentic.
And this will be a challenge every time. But tell me one thing.
So when you're competing on authenticity, then you're really competing against the local players and not really against the, or
No,
not
not
as much
exactly.
against
Not exactly.
the
See,
cross
local
country
players doesn't
players.
mean. See, yes, it comes off as a spin-off of or a byproduct of authenticity because of the local language, the local dynamics, etc. But the product might not be authentic. It comes across like that. Okay. Because again, the same thing. Are they doing with contract manufacturer? Are they doing with their own thing? Then they are scaling. I don't know. Okay, but फूड में लोकल का हमेशा रहेगा चैलेंज. हमेशा, आई विल नॉट से चैलेंज, हमेशा कंपटीशन रहेगा. बट द लोकल इज नॉट मेकिंग अ ब्रांड, दे आर जस्ट मेकिंग अ सेल. Okay, we are making a brand. When ID Fresh is was there, idli batter, all these years there are a lot of local players who are selling idli batters, who made the brand out of it. And it will not be an easy path, but it's not a tough path too. It's a path that we have to do very carefully, and only thing that will matter is the product and what communication will build around the brand, and how consistent will be around the brand. That will take us. Suppose, uh,
Yeah, no, I understand and kind of agree also. So my next question really then is, uh, so you were putting three parameters: the flavor,
the ta- the
the
the input.
what was it, the taste,
Hmm.
sorry, taste and flavor is one.
Ingredients.
The components, which is yeah, ingredients, which
Convenience.
is like the clean label
Convenience.
thing. And what was the third one? Convenience. Okay, so convenience, of
Yeah.
course, is the more scalability problem. But before that comes in your
Hmm.
product market fit that you were talking about is the first two. So what's your so far? What's your top two or three things about the first two,
Hmm.
which is clean label? Why are
Hmm.
you clean label? And the reason I'm asking is because in this industry,
Hmm.
which I've been in the last 5 or 7 years, is things that are clean label aren't really as clean label anymore.
It's a choice that those brands have exercised, but it can be clean label. But frankly speaking, it's a good question. I'll go back to this particular slide where we mentioned why people are buying us. Okay, so if you see this,
Yeah,
72% of the people who use Curryit currently, when we do this exercise, are buying for the taste, then convenience. Okay,
yeah.
people don't actually know whether it's clean label or not. They don't.
So it's not
Yeah, yeah.
clean label. So
Yeah.
it's not clean label. It's the taste, and that's your
See,
USP
we
going
feel
forward.
the clean label is our DNA because that we believe in it. Okay, and somewhere in the long term, it has its own value which will complement the brand. It will increase the brand value. Okay, today a consumer might not actually go and read
Got it.
ingredients and study
Got it.
take it because he's just buying a this thing. उसको जो टीवी में देखा कोई सेलिब्रिटी को देखा खरीद रहा है. 5 years down the line they'll evolve. Okay, but that's our DNA. So we will be doing everything in our DNA, that being clean label. But why customer is buying might not be because of its clean label today. Okay, only some percentage will buy, no, but others are not educated. See, the problem with India, or I would say the very intriguing insight about Indian audience is we all talk and show ourselves as we are a very educated and well choosy customer. We want good coffee, we want good clothes, we want good non-adulterated free food, everything. But if you talk about the daily actions, most of the choices we take are not good quality, clean label, etc. It's only price conscious things. That's the reality in today's world, and
Yes.
slowly it will
Yes.
change.
So
Yeah,
so then the next question is, you
yeah,
have a consumer price reality, you have an
yeah,
investor growth reality. How true to your clean label do you ever expect to remain? Because a lot of people start with clean label, whether in food or whether in a number of other
yeah.
industries with similar
Hmm.
things. And I'll give you just one
Yeah.
example. I mean, OpenAI was a foundation, right?
Yeah, lost.
So that's the big question, and
Hmm.
I'm very happy, Nishal. If that's a tricky question, I'm very happy to for this part to not be on
No, no,
YouTube.
it's not a
That's
tricky
totally
question.
fine,
It's
also.
a very real question, and we'll keep getting this question hitting on our face for the rest of our lives. Okay, and frankly speaking, again, when we started off this business, we created certain DNA values, and everyone does it, and how many people live by it is comes through the circumstances they go through, right? But what we feel is we can run the business being clean forever. Okay, we as simple as we have an option to just take our ginger garlic paste. Our ginger garlic paste, we have an option to increase the thickness of it by just adding a chemical compound. It doesn't come under a preservative or a additive. It's called xanthan gum. You open a you, you yeah you
I know.
yeah
I use it.
you
I use
open
it
this Dabur
at home.
homemade brand. The brand name is Dabur homemade. There's nothing homemade. The Dabur homemade they've did registered as a brand name. Okay, and they have this preservatives, additives, etc. We don't want, we are not, again, it's the DNA of Richa, me and my team that we started off, that we believe we'll only do those things which we can scale and have that margin being clean label. If there's a category without being clean we cannot scale, we'll not go into that category. Simple.
I think I like that, and xanthan gum for me, who is like trying to
Hmm.
be a very clean label guy when I cook,
Hmm.
is one of those gray areas where is it clean or is it not? Uh, and I'm talking about when I cook from basic ingredients. And what do you do? Do you take some
Hmm.
other type
Yeah.
of flour and thicken the gravy, or do you
Hmm.
just use? Now, here's the other thing. Do you
Hmm.
use a lot
Hmm.
of energy or gas or whatever energy you're using in just
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
just getting the curry to thicken? Because that also, some people might call it
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
climate inconscious. Right? There's like so many things happening around us, and I'm thinking about that from an investor viewpoint,
Hmm.
who is climate conscious, is
Hmm.
investing in the right things as an impact investor, but also
Hmm.
investing in the most scalable things. So I think you gave a very good pitch. You covered a lot of points. I have a lot of questions. We can probably. I'm impressed enough to maybe have another
Sure.
30-minute meeting with you
Sure.
separately outside this YouTube podcast. What I would say is there any final points that you would want to say to our audience about what you're raising right now? You mentioned
Yeah.
1 crore. You've got that 1 crore. You've got
Yeah.
like two and a half
Yeah.
crore or something settled. So if you can put
Hmm.
that slide on your round, do you want to say anything about your existing investors, previous investors, what you're raising, and what
So I'll
sort of investors you would want?
yeah.
Because I think you're in a good position to actually decide
Yeah.
uh, who you would want
Yeah. So
on
I'll
your cap
for
table.
the benefit of everyone, I'll not name the investors whom we are raising right now on this, but uh, we have see, it's a very conscious call to whom we go want to go with. Okay, we have RPSG Capital as our investor, and they have all interest to come in when we do a bigger round. Okay, they have an experience of building consumer brands. Okay, and we heavily rely upon them to understand how we can drive or extract value with respect to building large scale consumer brands with RPSC, be it helping us understand unit economics, be it helping us understand consumer insights, being helping us understand channel, which channel to focus on. Apart from that, we're lucky to have some very good angels who have and founders who have navigated this journey themselves. So from the horse's mouth, the insights are generally very different and advice is generally very different. Okay, so we have these successful entrepreneurs in food and non-food category. We have successful businessmen who has built international markets. So we consider these people as good partners for us in the journey, who a believes in the vision that there's a huge opportunity कि Indian cooking space में there is a compromised products available in the market, and there capturing the market. There's space where someone can come and do well with a different DNA like ours. Yes, how to do it is a different challenge that we will do. We want people to join hands and see how to do it. But that's our this thing. But they have to believe in this vision कि यार बहुत बड़ा space है जहाँ पर हम capture कर सकते हैं. The moment someone believes in this vision, the energy and the momentum that it gives in planning the new product category, the go-to-market strategy, and winning the channels would be completely different. So we are looking at investors who believe in the vision and who believe in capturing the market very fast, and uh, gives us additional wisdom that we don't have about trade, about consumers, about building large businesses. This we never built a large business. We've been part of large businesses maybe as a very small contributor. So we want heads who understand how to build large business. Or for example, someone who says, "Yeah, don't do this. It'll not help you in long term." Someone says this, even that is a value addition to us. So. In fact, Mr. Shah, Janas Shah, he himself is one such mentor to us. He always talks long term and he says, "कि तुम्हें क्या नहीं करना चाहिए?" And he's also putting some capital in this round, just for information. I hope I answered your question.
I think that's very great to hear. And if I now put my impression or understanding from like 25 years ago of Janashah sir, and he was a stud of ops and supply chain and everything on that account. And I can see you've also, even for a couple of years, done a bit of that a bit later, but from the tech part on that. And that's how I was putting two and two together. And in my opinion, as an investor, I think the margins, you were saying
Yeah,
margins तो इसके ऊपर ही
yeah,
जाएंगे, increase ही होंगे. I think your margins always come from
yeah,
reducing supply or improving supply
yeah,
chain components. So I think you're in a good space. That's lovely, Nishal. I think you're. Um, I mean, if there's anything that Chow, me,
yeah.
or Vix can help, we're definitely. But it was great to speak
Pleasure,
to you.
Yes,
And
I have
pleasure.
one other
yeah,
question, Nischal. So right now you are building
Sure.
it as a D2C brand, right? And direct to consumer.
Hmm.
Are you also looking at selling this to large buyers? Basically, one
Like
category which
B2B?
comes to my mind is the military itself, the military infrastructure itself, and
Uh,
especially in inhospitable places, they use a lot of RTC products. I don't know if you have
Uh,
explored
you
that.
you mean to say B2B or you mean to say institutional, as in large packs for like a Nestle professional institution, or you mean B2B where white label
Yes.
packs like
No, B2B as the end consumer. So one segment, for example, yeah, in my mind is the military at
yeah.
hard to reach terrains, right?
No, we frankly speaking, Manish, it's a good question, and many a times we're tempted to go and do B2B because it is a large ticket and it's a consistent working capital. Okay. Uh, but what we realized is when we are new, it was tough to get a B2B deal, large scale pay, because they generally like known brands. Okay, so we didn't have additional legs or dedicated effort towards B2B, but we already did a lot of D2B. Okay, we have certain interests coming in directly inbound interest, and we work with them. There's a brand who launched jackfruit with our curry paste. Okay, there's a restaurant in US who is trying to buy curry paste in bulk and wants in white label so that they can sell on our brand, which we said no, it can be a co-branded or a only branded one. We'll not do any white label. Okay, so that we there's this DLF club in Gurgaon who uses our butter masala to make their paneer butter masala and butter chicken. Okay, so we do B2B, but these were largely inbound. We didn't have enough time or manpower to actually focus that because as we said, we're a lean team. We thought we let's put everything to build the brand, and at right time there'll be a separate institutional sales arm because it's see once we anyways अभी भी capacity underutilization है, and as we grow there'll be enough periods where capacity would be underutilized. If at all we get a B2B deal, it only improves our capacity utilization, our working capital management, and it's good for bottom line. So we would, as long as brand is not compromised.
Sounds good. Mhm.
That's so good, Nishal. Nishal, I have to thank you and Richa, both
Thank
of
you.
you, for coming on our show and presenting and telling the viewers about the passion that you've brought this brand alive. Uh, Whether it's the passion behind a good taste or the passion about growing a business, I think both are reasonably equal and what we would expect from IIM graduates. Of course, we are biased because we are all IIM alumni, and we'd love and we'll be the cheering people to
Very much. It
for
means a
you to
lot.
succeed in your endeavor. So, on that note, thank you so much. And we'd love both of you to be part of our show again at a different time uh, when you've raised a round and for an update.
Definitely.
We'd love
Pleasure,
to have
pleasure
you back
speaking
here.
to you, including Vikas. He's not there. Thanks for giving us this opportunity.